Now, I'm excited for this one, okay? You guys know I look at a lot of smartphones, and I'm always on the lookout for some type of differentiation from what we're used to seeing. The V40 ThinQ from LG, it has 5 cameras. This is the kind of thing that seems like a concept, like you would see some image floating around Twitter, but now it's a real product, and it comes in price-wise just a little bit under some of the others. It's still gonna be expensive depending on the market that you're in, close to $1,000, but not quite $1,000. We of course have Snapdragon inside, and you can see this DTS logo as well. Something else that's exciting about this particular device is the fact that they kept the headphone jack, and they're very proud of the DAC that they're using on that headphone jack for higher quality audio than what you could achieve through wireless headphones. A microfiber cloth is going to greet us first. We have a 6.4-inch OLED display, QHD+. It also has a dedicated Google Assistant key in the place where other manufacturers have put their own assistants. That is a very light smartphone. Granted, I think part of the reason is because the battery in here is not huge. It's not like Galaxy Note huge. I believe it's around 3,300 milliamp hours. Let me put this down for a second. Also in the package, some paperwork, fast charge, power brick, that's a must. You also have a Type-C cable to keep it charged up, and because of that headphone jack, we actually have some pretty high-end earbuds here, in-ear design. As you can see, interchangeable ear tips to get a better fit also. This color is black, but depending on the angle you have it on, it kind of goes a bit blue. So what you have back here is a wide angle, a standard lens, and then an optically zoomed lens, each with its own aperture. They've also got the fingerprint scanner right here where I like it, where your finger lands naturally. It also has wireless charging. Bottom of the device, you'll see USB Type-C connector. This is the aforementioned headphone jack that so many people are excited about. Power switch is over here on this side, and then the dedicated assistant button is right below your volume buttons. Real quick, before we turn it on, let's get a look at the notch setup. Standard selfie camera, as well as a wide angle selfie camera. I should mention on the SIM card tray here, dual slot, so you do have expandable storage on there as well. It takes a nano SIM and a micro SD. Now this is kind of interesting. They're giving you the opportunity to turn off the notch right within the setup. In fact, it's the very first screen that you see. The other interesting thing, they're not calling it a notch, they're saying second screen. That's my preference right there, and then Notch City. All right, it's up to you. Maybe for the purpose of this video, I'll leave the notch on. I don't know. No, I want to go, that's my taste, all right? That's my flavor. This doesn't bother me that much. Apple, you know, I've been using the iPhone XS Max for a while now. I wish they gave you this option. We'll go ahead and set up the fingerprint scanner. It's definitely not the fastest I've seen. Wow, there are a ton of settings in here. So I have boosted up the brightness on the OLED now. Now their settings layout is a little bit different. Of course, this is running a skin as well, which may or may not be to your taste. These are the display settings, and there's a ton. So second screen here, that's what standard looks like. And then within custom, you can actually change the color of the notched out portion. If you want to go rainbow, you can even change the shape of it for the app corners. Look at that. Screen resolution, that's also up to you. By default, it's at 2340 by 1080. You can toggle in your color temperature based on the RGB levels you can fine tune. There's also tons of presets. I love the level of configuration they give you here though, because then it's up to you. Screen looks pretty good. First glance, definitely OLED based on viewing angles that I'm seeing here. All right, let's check out the audio here. I'll turn this video up. That's for dialogue. Oh, some high quality audio cables. We're getting most of our sound out of the bottom grill and maybe a little bit out of the earpiece region. I don't know, the sound, it seems a bit dull. Let me see here, if I go to my equalizer and try to boost the high end up and see what happens. Levitating. Oh, you can. That's way better. Levitates. It sounds better than the iPhone when with the custom. They raise like half. Is for somebody who has. You can fix it. Now, of course, the speaker is not even really what LG is happy about on this device. It's all about that headphone jack. So let me try out the included headphones. Now that I have these plugged in, it's gonna light up all kinds of extra options, as you can see here. Okay, so we're gonna turn on DTS and we're gonna turn on Hi-Fi Quad DAC. So this is mostly for music. So let me go ahead and load up some music real quick. You probably already know this, but there's no substitute currently for a wire when it comes to audio. Like, this is still it. If audio quality is a major focus of yours, you kind of got to be looking at this phone. All right, now, I realize at this point I have not covered I have not told you about the most important features on this phone, and they live in the camera department, of course. Okay, so by default, I booted into the camera app here. That's your default focal range right there. As you can see over on the side here, you have many more options. At the top, you have a zoom represented by this icon showing a zoom, and on the bottom is the wide. Okay, now this will give you a real quick representation of the differences. As you can see there, it is a ton of focal range that you're gonna cover, and it's optical, right? This is not digital at all. There's also an AI cam. This is the AI photo version of the wide. You can see it brightened it up a bit, actually. All right, now switching over to the selfie camera, it's a similar situation. You have two lenses on the front. Oh, wait a second. There was a beauty by default. How dare you? I thought I told you! No, it's okay. At least I can turn it off. Look, there's settings for it. So this is the contrast that I'm generally looking for. It just looks more like me here. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna try the AI selfie, see what they're doing, if they're doing anything fancy there. It's actually pretty nice. It doesn't, I mean, it definitely doesn't look like I'm wearing makeup. This is the group selfie button, but of course, this could also be used to capture something that's behind you. Like if you travel a lot and you're like, look where I am, I'm at the Taj Mahal. There's your wide one, and that's not so wide. It's not as much of a jump as I would like to have seen. It's definitely more in the frame, it's wider, but still not crazy wide. The two cameras actually look quite a bit different too from a color perspective, a contrast perspective. It's interesting. I actually prefer the look of the wide one. Now, something that I do think is cool to have directly in the camera app is Google Lens. And so they've done that here, and that allows you to just, you know, hold up an object like something in front, tap on it. Molson Canadian nails it. It's beautiful. Look, I get the alcohol percentage and so on. Now, speaking of Google, they also have this dedicated assistant key. You just hit the button, done. All right, but a dedicated key is kind of nice. The only criticism I have about that key, why not make it configurable? There's so many other configuration options, like with the audio and the display and so on. But as of right now, it appears that it's just Google Assistant. Now, obviously, this is a very unique device because of that camera setup, the headphone jack sticking around and being a priority. It has piqued my interest personally, maybe even to the point of testing it out over an extended period of time as my main device. If that's something you would like to see, you can let me know by leaving a thumbs up down below. I'm just curious how I would use all these cameras and the types of photos that I would create, and if I would actually end up utilizing this headphone jack after all. Like, would I plug in for a little extra quality? Of course, there's some things I'm a little worried about with this device, including the battery. I mean, it's definitely not the largest in the flagship department, especially compared to something like the new Note. And then also the skin. It's definitely not stock Android. Otherwise, the specs here look good. The phone is super slim and light. But anyhow, there it is, the LG V40 ThinQ. Right now, it's promising. It has my attention.